Hi, I'm Ellie McGuire, the host of the Shaking the Bushes podcast. Our next guest, he's done something that we only dream about doing and never really get to do. So stay tuned. It's gonna be a doozy. John Foley,
Ellie.
welcome to my kitchen table in my childhood home.
Thank you so much.
I am so delighted to have you here.
Well, it was a tough time getting here. Lots of traffic. The airlines are way behind, because
I
there's
know.
no airlines anymore.
Basically,
So, but anyway, here I am.
Basically, people, he's saying he lives 2 blocks away.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. And what's so amazing is how we met and your story. And that's why we're here.
Okay.
So that is what the Shaking the Bushes podcast is all about, is extraordinary
That's
stories.
a great title, by the way, Shaking the Bushes.
Well, you know where I got it,
I
right?
don't know where you got it.
Ron and I, my forever fiance, he and I got to go on a fabulous yacht in Greece
Yeah.
by the invitation of the former President George Herbert Walker Bush
Yeah.
and his lovely wife, Barbara Bush. And then we went to their home. I mean, it was just wonderful. But what transpired, it's in my memoir, so I can't tell you.
Oh,
But what I can say is that after spending time with them, I had to go shaking the bushes on my life. And I wrote the memoir. So that's how that came about.
okay.
But it's also kind of double entendre because right now we're shaking the bushes on your life.
That's true.
There you go. But let's
Yeah.
get back to how we met because
Okay.
it's a mind blower. All right. We're going by Ron, my forever fiance, my 2 very adorable Yorkshire Terriers,
Yes.
and I are walking around the corner of this delightful house with a white picket fence. And there is a man outside mowing his lawn, hand mowing his lawn, I believe. I don't know. Was it an electric mower?
I think it was. There might have been a hand mower in there, but I think electric mower. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I love electric motors.
Yeah.
So that got my attention. And then all of a sudden the noise went down and you started walking over.
Yeah.
And I was like, welcome to the suburbs. And you came over and you said, hello. And that started it. Because when you and I, now we know, when we get talking,
We're talking.
we're talking. Your lovely wife, Carolyn, will come out of the house going, what are you guys doing? But
Yeah.
rewind.
Yeah.
You're mowing the lawn, you walk over, and then you said hello.
Yeah.
And we introduced ourselves and said, well, we live in New York City, but I also live in my childhood home around the corner from you.
Yeah. Now, did Ron and I meet first when you were playing
I don't know.
music?
I don't
remember
know.
you. The first thing I remember about you, I remembered you somehow from New York, and then I walked by one of the windows in Pawtuxet Village where we lived, and he was at the window, and I thought, oh, I know that guy.
That's another story.
Oh, okay.
That is another story. We'll get to that one. But
Okay.
I want to tell everybody, because this doesn't usually happen.
Yeah.
You come over, you start talking. We say hi. We're from New York, but we also live around the corner.
Yeah.
And then you say, oh, well, and then you start telling me about your experience in New York.
Yeah.
And I think you said something like, oh, yes, I used to live in New York because I was on Broadway. And I went, what? I'm in the suburbs.
Did I really say that? That
Yeah.
might sound so.
No, you did it very humbly.
Did I pose and raise an eyebrow? And
You
say,
might have. Well, you couldn't flick-
Broadway.
You couldn't flick your hair. But
Okay.
but the thing is, when you had me at Broadway and you started to tell us a story about how you used to live in New York City.
Yeah.
And I think you were trying to, come together with us in our commonality.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
both
yeah.
are New Yorkers in one way or the other. And you told the story, which is,
I think, now I would back this up because the real getting to New York started in North Carolina.
Okay.
And so I was with a bunch of very smart guys, musicians, in Chapel Hill. And so we had a band called the Southern States Fidelity Choir.
Wow, the Southern States Fidelity Choir.
I don't know
Okay.
where we thought that up or something. And so we played around Chapel Hill, and then I wasn't one of the writers, but there was a show called Diamond Studs, and that was written by the other guys in the band.
Okay.
And so we were playing around, and there was a place called the Ranch House, which was a restaurant in Chapel Hill. We went in and said, you have a big room, and could we put up a stage and do a show? And they said, sure, why not? So we go in, we do what became Diamond Studs, which was a cast of 14. Talk about producers going, no, you're not getting 14 people on that stage. But some woman was from North Carolina, and she had a place in New York, and she came up after the show and she said, you should take this to New York. And we're going, oh yeah, come on. And she said, no, really. She said, I have.
Wait a minute. You're in North Carolina. Were you in college?
Yeah.
Or?
After we were at, you know how people hang around their college a little bit after they graduate, they don't know what they're doing. That was us.
So you're in college.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden someone shows up and they think you should take your act to New York. That's basically
the woman
it?
says, I have a friend in New York, and so I think I'll contact them, and I think you've really got something here. And we said, okay, great, So then they went to New York, and it turns out Dodger Productions was sort of an early going. There were 3 or 4 guys, Ed Strong and Michael. And anyway, so they flew right down. And they were sitting in the front row.
You're just out of college, and you have like a production or agents
in a
coming
restaurant.
down in a restaurant to see you. That is just mind blowing.
And we could see they're scribbling or something, and so
scribbling.
So then, after the thing's over, we go mingle with the guys, and Michael David, big Rasputin beard, and hair down to his shoulders, because this was like would have been 72.
Wow.
73, something like that,
So you come up to New York with this show.
Well, no, wait a minute. We talked to those guys, and they said, it's great. We want to do this. And we said, what do you mean you want to do it? What does that mean? We were so stupid. We said, what do you mean you want to do it? They said, we want to take you to New York. And we said,
oh, don't even tell me that you thought about it for a second.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people?
No, we thought about New York, but the reality of we had to, get rid of our, there was, I don't know, it was just such a stunning thing with about 19 people. It was 14 people performing, and then there was 4 or 5 people who were kind of, behind the scenes.
Okay, so you're going to go to New York. Let's cut to the chase. You get this show out of college.
Yeah.
You go to New York.
Yeah.
Okay, and you do this show. But I want to get back, if we can rewind.
Please.
You're mowing the lawn. You walk over to us. You say, okay, I used to live in New York because I did a show on Broadway, and that got my attention.
I see.
But what show blew my mind was
Pump Boys, I guess.
Pump Boys and Dinettes.
Yeah, that was the one that really caught on. But my heart actually is into Diamond Studs.
Okay, but let's continue with Pump Boys and Dinettes because that's where my mind went.
Yeah.
What happened was we're standing on this little street in this suburb of Rhode Island, and you say, I used to live in New York. I did Broadway. You didn't mention the Diamond show at that time, but you said, we did a show called Pump Boys and Dinettes, and Ron and I just looked at each other, and we looked back at you. I mean, I thought it took an hour for that to happen. We just looked back at you, and we said, you're not going to believe this. And you said, what? And we said, Ron was in Pump Boys and Dinettes at the Kennedy Center.
Right.
So, to review, the guy's mowing the lawn, and now all of a sudden we're talking about a show that you wrote with some people, right? And the guy standing next to my dogs, my forever fiance Ron, has been in that show.
Yeah.
What are the chances?
Yeah.
1,000,000 to 1, I'd say.
Well, also because when you guys walked down the street, right away, I got a real bond of, They're New Yorkers and they're show people. You don't see that in Pawtuxet Village very often. Just saying.
So Ron did the show, Pump Boys and Dinettes, which I am a huge fan of because when we were living in Alexander, Virginia, we've lived everywhere, but that's where I met Ron. When he got into the show, he was an understudy. I believe he was filled in when one of the, just to tell the audience, what is it? It was a couple of guys and a couple of gals, and they were...
Yeah, it was actually 4 guys and 2 women.
4 guys and 2 women,
Yeah.
and they were gas station attendants, and then there was waitresses. And the show is all about that. And so the Kennedy Center was set up almost like a diner, and you ate there, and it was wonderful. But I would come home from work. I used to work for the Capitals hockey and the Bullets, I'm dating myself, basketball team, and I'd come up the stairs, and I'd hear in my apartment, da-da-da-da-da, or I'd hear all these songs. How many songs were there? You said 24?
I don't even, 20, 18 or 20. They were short and fast.
But still, Ron had to practice all of those just to be an understudy.
Yeah.
And then somebody got sick and they moved it all around and Ron played piano and he was in it for 24, I call them episodes, but 24 performances.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. But the thing that blew me away is Ron, he has a hard time walking and chewing gum. I'm just saying. And he did a song with a waitress on either arm, red cowboy boots, and farmers.
The
girls. He harmonized, sang, and played the accordion. Now, that is a lot of movement. That is when I probably fell in love more with Ron Trotter. But that was crazy. So I meet a guy in the suburbs. I mean, that would be understandable in New York.
Yeah.
You're on the Upper West Side. You're chatting. That
a
happens.
guy's been in a show. A guy's
but
this,
not
that.
in Rhode Island, not in Gadsby.
Yeah.
And here you are. So that is when I fell in love with you. I just went, my gosh. And we've been friends ever since.
That is the show that nearly died.
What do you mean?
We got it all put together.
Mm-hmm.
And we did.
Nearly died.
Yeah, well, we were doing. There's a thing called a gypsy run through, and a gypsy run through was so when you're in previews.
Mm-hmm.
So we were in previews, which is you're doing shows to an audience, but you don't really count a real show until you do your first opening night. So we were in the Gypsy Run Through was the night before the opening night.
Oh, okay. So the night previous to the opening night. So this is a big deal.
Gypsy Run Through, and then you had to go have a paying audience, which we really never had. So
that's important.
So we go and do it, and there was a guy. I won't mention his name. He's a lovely guy, but he didn't get us at all. And we spent the whole day, saying, no, you can't do that. That's why don't you stand over here? And then
But hadn't you had rehearsals all before that, right?
Oh yeah, we were
So this is your
we
director?
didn't have a director.
So you didn't have a director?
We never had a director.
Oh, okay.
So the union said, you got to have a director. So he said, okay, who's the guy? And he said, well,
this guy.
Really nice guy, And so finally we got to Monday night, which was the Gypsy Run Through.
Right.
And then our first preview would have been Tuesday.
Okay.
So word comes up at 5:00 when we're taking a break. And
I'm nervous already just hearing you.
Yeah. And he said, I can't work with you guys. I can't. I mean, I don't know.
The night before you're going to open, he can't work with you guys?
Yeah. He says, I don't know. Maybe you just haven't had much theater training. He was just a guy who was a stone cold theater junkie, and he didn't understand what we were doing.
Talk about creativity going south, right?
Yeah. He didn't understand.
So what happened?
So he said, so we all sat at 5:00. Everybody sat around, and Word sat down and he said, I don't know if I can work with you guys. And we
Jaw drop.
Yeah. No, it was we said, okay, we'll be fine. Don't worry. And he said, well, I'm going to go out to dinner and you have my phone number and I'm going to have a nice dinner. And if you call, We'll move along and do the best we can. And if you don't call, no hard feelings.
This is the night before
Yeah.
your opening night.
So then he walks off to have, it turned out, several cocktails during dinner. And we sat there and sort of in silence, like we're sitting around here. So give us like 10 seconds or 8 seconds of silence. Do you guys want him to come back? And everybody went, no, not really. He said, okay,
Wow.
let's order in some food, get back in the dressing room, run through things a couple times, and if we go out in a blast, we go out in a blast. But we go out as we are.
Wow. So Monday night comes
Yeah.
and you had opening night.
Yeah.
And did you have anybody
No,
show
the
up?
gypsy run through is different. So
Oh, no, Tuesday night comes.
Tuesday night
Excuse
comes.
me. Monday was gypsy. And then
Yeah.
Tuesday night, opening night, this big change happens.
Yeah.
And did you have anybody show up?
Jammed. Place was
I
jammed.
love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
At the Princess Theater,
At the Princess Theater. So,
which has been torn down, not because of us.
all right. You do the show.
Yeah.
People loved it.
Yeah.
And then did you
So
do
we
it?
go to, no, you got to, here's the thing.
Yeah.
So we got to go to Sardi's
Of course,
because
darling.
because those were the days where you had to go to the corner, put in your 75 cents for the New York Times and open for the reviews.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So you go to Sardi's.
We go to Sardi's, we sit around and I think I may be mixing this up, but I don't know. John Phillips, remember John Phillips?
From Mamas and the Papas?
Yeah.
Yes.
They also did a show called Moonlight or something. It was dreadful. We didn't see it, and so he had seen the reviews and he was just getting himself blotted. Well, I don't know. Shouldn't say that about anybody.
Well,
He had a couple of
He
cocktails.
seemed to have a reputation.
because he was discouraged because they got totally panned.
So you're sitting at one table and they're sitting at another table.
Yeah.
They've got their review and it's blotto. It is over.
Right. And we hadn't read it. We didn't know it.
Right.
You know, what was going on. So finally, and it's like, this was great. The papers come like at 11:30.
I love it. The papers.
Yeah.
It's the only way.
We get the papers and we walk in, and our producer, Michael David, who was a saint, he was a great guy. So we walk in and we said, Michael, you know, take the arts page and stand up on a chair and read us the top of the review.
You are bold.
Well,
What the heck, right?
what the heck?
Yeah.
You know, so,
Were there other people in the restaurant?
oh, yeah. It
Oh,
was
so he
packed.
stands on a chair?
So Michael stands on the chair
I love that.
and he goes, oh, shit.
Excuse me, for those listening,
Oh.
there was a staring into space moment.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, or, oh, shucks.
No, that's okay.
And we immediately assumed that, like, hey, you gave it a try, didn't work, you know.
Things happen.
And Michael said, no. And so it turns out the headline was, yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. And it went uphill from there. It was like just,
Wow.
and we were stunned.
And John Phillips was pissed.
Yeah. No, he was just.
No, he was just.
He
yeah.
probably is many things. I really admire him. I think he's a really talented guy.
Right, no, I
but
love
as a
him.
person, I don't know what that was about.
But still, that had to be a little tough pill to take. But
Yeah.
anyway, back to Pump Boys and Dinettes. So how long did you run on Broadway?
Well, we ran for, I think, a couple of years, a year and a half, couple of years. And the thing was, we were booked for 2 weeks. The Dodgers said, oh, you know, well, we have a slot, you know, and so we can put you in the off-Broadway theater. And then you can do that. Fine. We said, okay, fine, we'll do that.
Are you aware? So you're college kids. You
Yeah.
got these people coming down. They bring you to New York, and then you write this other show. Wasn't one of the? I have to admit, I Wikipedia'd Pump Boys and Dinettes,
Yeah.
and I read that one of your the people's creators
Yeah.
was a Deborah Monk. Debbie.
Oh, yeah.
And she's huge now. You know,
Oh,
she's
she's a big deal now.
she's
Yeah.
in the Gilded Age, I believe. She's
Yep.
in a lot of Law and Order. So when I saw her picture, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys started from nothing. You are
Nothing.
like the story everyone wants to hear. And did you realize how lucky you were?
Once we get over the shock,
Touche.
and because I remember I called my parents, I called my father.
Now that's in New Hampshire. Are you from New Hampshire?
New Hampshire,
Okay.
yeah. He was a physician in New Hampshire, God rest his soul. And he said, and so we realized that we were going to have to do this show for a year at least, you know. I called my father and I said, you know, Dad, I think that we've changed plans a little bit here. We're going to be working at this theater, at the West Side Arts Theater, for probably at least, you know, a couple, 2-3 months. You know, it turned out to be almost 2 years, year and a half, almost 2 years.
And what'd your dad say?
What do you want to do that for?
Oh my God, every parent. Why don't they get that? That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
And so, of course, when you cut back to
Get a real job, John.
when you cut back to Diamond Studs,
Yeah.
when my
Was that before or after
before
Pump Boys or
it was
after?
before Pump
Oh, it
Boys.
was before Pump
Yeah,
Boys.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And when my parents finally came, you know, of course, after all that bluster, you know, because my father was always like, "We got a good restaurant, you know, we got to go." And I said, "Dad, I got to go to work. I got to like at 5 o'clock
They
get it
don't get it,
together."
yeah.
And she said, "Really? You know, where are we going to eat?"
I have a J-O-B. It just happens to be
Yeah.
a really fun J-O-B.
So my taciturn father, bawled the whole time during the show,
Of course.
like parents do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So then you won him over.
Yeah, but then he said, "So what are we doing tomorrow night?" I said, "I'm doing the same thing you just saw." He said, "Really? You have to do it again?" I
Our
said,
parents wonderful.
Yeah, I
They're
know.
clueless. They're clueless, but we love them. Oh my God. So let's just review.
Yeah.
You did one show out of college. They move you to New York City, and then you do another show after that, and it's another hit. You had 2 hits, and you were just this kind of cute little band in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Amazing.
It was a good mix of talented people.
Mhm.
And I think the thing that worked for us.
I think luck kind of happened a little bit
totally
there too.
luck. Totally. Every show has luck. You
Right.
know? But I think the idea that all we knew was what we'd made up ourselves.
So you
And-
created something out of nothing.
Right. Right.
And then people came knocking. I
Right,
am
but we
so
didn't think it would
jealous.
go. We didn't think it would go anywhere. I mean, we there was a place called the Ranch House in Chapel Hill,
Mhm.
and it was a restaurant, and they had a little. I don't know if they put a stage in or they had a stage or something.
Yeah.
But we did it there, and everybody really liked it. You know, in Chapel Hill, in a college town, and that's when the woman came over and said, "I think this should
Right.
go to New York."
That's what you said. But the thing is, all of us probably have done some kind of silly thing in a restaurant, whether it's waitressing or playing a guitar.
Right,
I've
right.
sung my heart out when I've had a couple of drinks, and everybody does something.
Yeah.
Ron played at a Shakey's, I think, in Colorado, or did something. I mean, we all start there.
Do they still have Shakey's?
I don't think so. He closed them all. I'm kidding. But anyway, he's
Yeah.
as you mentioned, he plays piano. He's a
An
three-time
extremely good piano player. by the way.
three-time world champion ragtime piano. I don't like to say it much because then it makes his head big, hard for me to live with him, all of that. But he is very, very talented.
Yes, he is.
And so it just is crazy that, we live in New York City. Anybody who's anyone lives in New York City,
Yep.
And then you come to the burbs and this is what happens.
Yeah.
My podcast, Shaking the Bushes podcast, is all about living in the biggest city, New York City, and the smallest state, Rhode Island, and how different it is, but how very much the same it is. And
Yeah.
you certainly brought that home. I mean, it was just crazy. And to think that you just did all of that and you're in Rhode Island is amazing.
Yeah. Well, we didn't really know what we were doing.
And
I
how
mean,
did you
we
get? How did
we
you?
knew how to. We were good musicians.
Right.
we could tell a lot of stories, some true, some not, but we didn't see beyond that.
Huh.
You
That's
know?
crazy. So that's it. You play harmonica, you
Yeah.
play the guitar, right? I have my one guitar.
Dobro. Don't forget the dobro.
The what?
The dobro.
Don't swear at me again.
Um, it's a guitar that has the strings raised so you can use a slide on the strings.
Oh.
It's sort of like a poor man's pedal steel guitar.
Uh-huh.
So you can pull the strings with your fingers to pull things and stuff.
And you play that.
Yeah, I love it.
That doesn't everybody. What's that, brother? Oh, that's my dobro case going
Hey,
down the
you
street.
coming in here without a dobro? Get out of here.
Well, I have to tell you, my one New York City string guitar story was
Yeah.
I had a bit of a fling with a banjo player. Go figure that one out.
4-string or 5-string?
4-string.
4-string.
I had to look at Ron.
If
A
he had another
4-string.
string, you'd be somewhere else.
Wow. But I went to, I can't think of I began with an I. I did it. Well,
I didn't do it. I did it.
yeah, in New York City. Iridium. Ron just
the
told me.
Iridium. Yeah.
And we sat and listened to Les Paul all
man.
night long.
He's the guy.
And then the banjo player and Les Paul talked all night long. It was 4:00 in the morning before we left. But what a great experience that was. He was with Mary Ford and Les Paul,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
invented the Les
the Les Paul guitar.
right. So that was kind of my big
Yeah.
guitar experience.
Yeah.
But I did play guitar when I was little in this house, in that living room. I learned, a guitar teacher came over. I learned chords. He played melody, or it could have been the opposite. But we did a whole Christmas album for my father, who loved to whistle.
Yeah.
I
Ooh,
thought it,
cool.
but it was on 2 reels. What were those? The old reels?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
recorded it on 2 reels, and that was my Christmas gift to him. And we played. So now I play ukulele. Used to play on cruise ships with Ron. I could go on and on, but I'm a little bit of everything and not good enough for anything. I tell myself, you, on the other hand, went to Broadway. I can't believe you're sitting at my little kitchen table.
Go
And-
on with you.
Oh my gosh! So now, but harmonica's a big fan. You're a big fan of harmonica
Love
as
harmonica. The king of harmonica is Howard Levy.
well. Howard Levy.
Look him up, and he's. I met Howard Levy. He lived in Chicago. We were living in Chicago at the time, so I was looking for a house to rent,
Uh-huh.
and because we were staying there, and then we were going to buy a house because we were going to move. We were going to stay in Chicago, which we did for 4 or 5 years. My kids were born there, and all that kind of stuff. So there was a knock on the door, so I was going to rent the house.
Uh-huh.
And I was waiting, for someone to go. So, knock on the door, and this guy says, "Hi, I hate to bother you." And I said, "Howard." He said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I know you. You're like the greatest harmonica player." He is. He's the greatest
He
harmonica
knocked
player
on your
in the world.
door,
Yeah. He was looking for a place. He said, "I heard this is for rent."
and you
And-
recognized him.
Totally.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, John, but totally. I think if Howard Levy came into my house, I wouldn't know because I don't play harmonica.
Yeah. I mean, only because of the harmonica is why I knew him.
And
you
he
know?
wanted to rent your place?
Yeah, but I said, "Okay, Howard, here's the deal. I'll pay the rent for the month." So I said, "We're going to move. We're going to get into another house. I will pay your months-long rent if I can hang out with you for that entire month."
That is brilliant.
He said, "Deal. Let's go."
Brilliant. Oh my gosh. So now you're a harmonica fan.
Yeah.
You and Bob Dylan and
Well, Bob Dylan and the harmonica, they really don't mesh very well.
well, I always said
You want a sample?
my brother, I would love one. My brother was a big Bob Dylan fan, and
Yeah.
we got to go see him at the Providence Civic Center.
Yeah.
And Leon Russell was the what do you call it, the first act, and
Yeah,
then the
opening
warm up,
act,
the
yeah.
opening act. And I had backstage passes because I used to work at WPRO radio.
Right.
So we went backstage. Leon Russell, but I'm digressing. But back to Bob Dylan. My brother was so excited. He was such a big Bob Dylan fan, and all he did was play religious music the whole show. Not one blowing in the wind, nothing. And we were like, we were so sad. But he's a quirky kind of guy, right? And his voice,
Very.
but you're saying he's not the biggest harmonica player? Or?
No, he's a genius.
He's
He's
amazing.
yeah, but he's not, he's a
Look
he's
who
a
we,
he's
who
a
are
Woody
we?
Guthrie harmonica player. It's okay to do a little harmonica or something. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So he's a Woody Guthrie player. So when you hear guys like Woody Guthrie, they play like this. Maybe a little better than that, but not much better than
Right.
that. So when Howard came over, he said, I said, I'll let you have the house. And I said, but you got to give me harmonica lessons.
But you gotta give me harmonica lessons.
And Howard's the type of guy who walks up no matter where he is, and before he opens his mouth, he pulls out harmonica. So even if you want to talk to him, no can do.
Kind of tough if you're a piano player.
Yeah. So I'll give you a short hit.
Okay.
So most people say, so the harmonica. All the same notes, right?
Right. I guess. Yes.
Yeah. So
My dogs are looking.
I said to Howard, Howard said, let me show you what can be done. So this is where you can almost hit all the half tones on this. Let me see if I get it right.
Hootenanny time. Yeah.
And what this is,
But, let me just explain. I have tried my best to play harmonica. Those little holes are so tiny. So for you to get two sounds out of one little hole,
I got 4 on it.
holy moly.
Yeah,
Or
this
should
will
I
go
say
4.
holy harmonica.
So that totally opened a musical door to me that I thought,
Did you play this in Pump Boys? Did you play harmonica in Pump
Yeah.
Boys? And you
Yeah.
played it in Diamond Studs?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, you're going to probably not be thrilled about this, but
What?
I wrote down the first words of da-da-da-da-da.
Those are words. Those are, what are they? Da-da-da-da-da. They're beats.
The beats. Can you give me a little da-da-da-da-da? This is my favorite song. All right. I sat up all night working on the books. You drove up this morning, gave me one of my looks. Your tank is empty. You need some air. Well, woman, the hose is over there. Oh my God, my dogs are like, what
That's
the
right.
hell?
That's how we call the dogs at our house.
Well, I had to just sing
Anyway.
that is what I heard every day going up the steps in my Alexander, Virginia home,
Yeah.
listening to Ron practice.
Yep.
And then he got called in for 24 performances. And I am sitting across the table, my kitchen table in my childhood home. I keep saying that because it makes me laugh, with the guy who wrote those songs that I fell in love with. I mean, what are the chances? I can't even imagine it happening any other way than the way it happened.
Well, and it's funny when you're talking about writing songs, group writing and songs, there's probably half of the conversation is when we're talking. So you'll say, I got this great song. Did you hear me play it? And some of the people would say, yeah. I mean, let's say there were 5 people in the band.
Right.
You would come in and say, I got this great song.
I have this great song.
You got to hear it.
You gotta hear it.
We hear it. Step in. I don't know. I don't know if that's for us. I don't know. I don't. They'd say, well, no, let me play it again.
You're talking
Okay.
like a band member.
Okay, play it again. Yeah, I can see what you're going for, but I just don't think it's us,
So how
And
many
that would-
times it goes around and around and around?
And that, of course, would have been the song that was the hit song of the show.
Well, I have to tell you, if I may for a moment, bring you up to date on my life. Before COVID, Ron and I went to 352 elementary schools with a show called the Schmitty the Weather Dog
Oh, yeah.
science sing-along show based on my Yorkshire Terrier, based on Ron getting his meteorology degree. And at the same day he got his AARP card, tells you when he got his degree. And then we took it on the road to teach kids about science and weather and saving the planet. And Ron, for Christmas, wrote a whole musical based on I wrote a children's book called Schmitty the Weather Dog, Daydream. It's always, I never mentioned me. But yes, so I wrote this cool book and I'd read it to the kids and then we'd do this whole show. And we got kids to sing along. And it was such a hit. Talk about a focus group, 300.
Well, it's a great idea.
I know. So what I'm trying to say in my slow way, because we never talk, we never make it short. It's always long.
That's right.
A long story. But Ron for Christmas gave me a musical based on my children's book. And so we have all these songs, and it's kind of like You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I went to see that on Broadway. Kristen Chenoweth played Snoopy. She played a fictional cartoon character. It was
she's
standing ovation all over the place. It was the best show. And that inspired me to write Schmitty the Weather Dog Daydream and now to have a show. I guess the point is, maybe we could stand around your band sometime and we could play those songs and they'll go, I don't know. I don't quite see that. Maybe you'd like to work on our musical is what I'm trying to say.
We had guys who say you bring a song in and then you do something and then you go like this and then they go, well, what do you want to do that for?
Well, I have to tell you, I wore this today. And for those of you just listening, it's a Mickey Mouse watch with a leather band. You know who gave this to me?
I don't.
Peter Yarrow.
Oh,
he used to live in our
him.
building and was a good friend of ours. And he just passed away, as you know. And we took you to a Peter Yarrow concert.
I was so enamored with Peter, Paul, and Mary. I mean, when I was a kid, I just said, I got to be one of those guys or something. And I got to hang out with them. And
I know. We went up there and
that
Mary
was a
passed
thrill
away.
of my life.
Oh, that was fun. You and Caroline and Ron and I, and we even packed a dinner. Went up to the Katharine Hepburn Theater and saw him. And I think both of them were 87 years old at the time.
And Paul's still with us, yeah?
Paul is rocking it. We went to his memorial. We went to Peter's memorial just recently. And Paul, his real name is Noel, is still just this tall, handsome, strong man. I mean, 87, now he's probably 88. But the bottom line is folk music lives on.
Yeah.
And the memorial, I told everybody, it was a 4.5-hour hootenanny. I love that word. Who uses it anymore?
Who made it up?
Hootenanny.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful. It was wonderful. And I know those were your inspirations, you've told me.
When I badgered my parents to the State Theater was this huge, beautiful performance space in Manchester, New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. But then they put a movie screen in it, and there was a lot of, you can't do that, you can't do that. You can take the old State Theater.
Change is tough.
So finally, I badgered my parents into, I must have been 9 or 10. And they finally said, you can go see Peter, Paul, and Mary live.
Really?
I thought I died and gone to heaven.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, those are all the memories we take that kind of blossom in our adulthood. So Ron's giving me the signal. We're almost out of time. Okay. But as adults, now you've done all this great stuff. You're living in Rhode Island. I'm here with you. I think we should collaborate. But do you see at our wonderful ages that, we're not spring chickens anymore. We can't go Dunkin' basketball, but...
Or Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts, we can do that. But do you see any projects on the horizon for you?
I'm sort of writing, for right now, I'm sort of writing about a family biography.
Really?
Yeah,
Is that a memoir like I did? No.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, my parents are all gone. My sister's still alive. They live in Martha's Vineyard, and they come down once in a while. So I just decided I need to start writing about who I was and where I am.
That's what I did. Took me 8 years.
And it's not even. I don't really think at all about publishing, not publishing anything. I just think about the things I did, and when I sit down and write stuff about every third paragraph or page or something, I catch on to something and I go, oh, I forgot about that. And then I start writing more, and it's almost like the page is saying, you better talk about this and you better talk about
Your
that, or it's
brain
going to
works.
get away from you.
It's amazing. It took me 8 years to write my memoir.
Yeah.
And and it's like I said about the former president, first lady, and then my life kind of intertwined in that story.
Yeah.
And it really was enlightening, and why I behave the way I behave, and my parents, and it all kind of started here. You're sitting where my dad used to sit, having his cup of coffee and his cigarette every morning. But that's another story.
Those days are gone.
But those memories. But are you thinking of doing anything musical? I mean, once again, I'm going to snag you for that Schmitty the Weather Dog musical. But have you thought of doing anything with your music or your harmonicas, or doing anything like that?
I'm finally finishing up. We wrote me and a friend, Eric Peterson, who lives in Vermont, and we co-wrote a play called Going Up the Country. And it was
Isn't that Joe and the Fish in the Woodstock?
Yeah. It sounds like that's Country Fish.
Oh,
something. But so Going Up the Country was about the hippie invasion of Vermont.
Oh, okay. So it is a little bit of Woodstocky.
Yeah. It's a whole story like that. And
wow.
I got to a impasse with. There was a woman who was, and she. I'll try and make this really quick. So we're
impossible.
Yeah. So
I've stood on a street corner with you. We don't make anything quick, but go on.
Okay, so we're following this play, and I'm reading the play, and Eric's got all this stuff written down, and I said, Eric, there's a woman named Melanie in here, and I think she gets, maybe out of a 70-page play, I think maybe she gets 2 pages, and that's not going to work. And he said, oh. So I started writing about her, and to this day, I've got one more quatrain, and I'll be finished, because she became so complicated on the page to me. I just couldn't get it to work. Just couldn't get it to work. It's a
road bump for you.
Yeah.
It's a musical road bump for you.
So I finally I just got to put the finishing touches on. I finally got it on it where she is like a time bomb in the middle of the play. All of a sudden she goes, boom.
Wow.
You guys
You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. Stephen King, he has a book on writing, and it's brilliant. I have it if you want to borrow it. But it's all about the one thing you can do for something like that. Just sit down, sit on your ass, and write. Write. And just, even if it's free fall, just keep writing, and it will finally come to you. I had to do that. I mean, when I wrote my memoir, it was the hardest thing. And I can remember things I missed, but I just was not going to stop. And now it's just one of those things is, now I got some juicy stuff in there, and do I want to put it out there right now, Yeah. But the harmonica, I think you told me on one street corner story where your wife was like, what are you doing? Whoops.
Which wife?
I just hit the microphone. I was so excited. But you said something about doing something with the harmonicas with a guy. You wanted to write about a harmonica story. So I think the point is, you did these 2 stupendous things. You were on Broadway, not once, but twice. Every person's dream, anybody who's creative anyway. And does that stop you from moving forward? Because you kind of hit the mountain. You hit the, you hit the peak of every person's dream. Is it hard to try to overcome that?
It's easier.
It's easier?
Yeah. Well, for me, so I'm 76 years old.
Okay.
And, I was
always...
It's
the new 50s.
Yeah, and even putting this last piece into this Going Up the Country, the last thing that makes it go, I just thought, why am I sweating this? I'm just gonna sit down and spend 20 minutes talking about like this character would talk, and just talk and write it down and put it in, and then start crossing out what's too much of it. And
so you find that easier than, you don't say to yourself, because some people have
just to bloviate. Some
people have these huge successes, and it's really debilitating to try to match those successes creatively. Do you know what I'm saying? So you don't have that problem?
Well, I have the problem for this one character. And
so you're stuck.
Yeah, and then I'm starting to think, well, maybe I don't understand women, but I think I do because no, but you know what I mean. I'm thinking this
Right.
whole thing in the hippie age. Remember that? What was it? The 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
The
I
the
was just a
women,
child.
yeah, the women always got the back seat, right?
Oh my God, backseat. We were in the
Yeah,
trunk.
that's right. So when I got to this woman,
Oh, I see.
I thought I must have had 50 pages where she was making nice and and everything and finally I
Making
said,
nice is what we all learned to
yeah,
do as
yeah.
women.
And in the hippie thing, the women,
Uh-huh.
they were doing the work and the men,
Right.
I don't know what they were doing, smoking dope. So I finally said, I'm just gonna pardon
You're
my
going to give her
French,
her credit, I
she's
think.
gonna have balls.
Yeah.
That's what's missing with
I
this
like that.
character.
Yeah.
And so as soon as she got on that page in my head, nobody was gonna stop her.
You are a very sensitive man, John Foley, because a lot of men would not identify with that.
Yeah, but I
So-
mean, you find a female perspective, and you turn the volume all the way up, so to speak. You're going to hear a lot of things you
Well, what
didn't
was-
need to hear, didn't want to hear.
Well, what did
but
they
you
say
learned
about
something.
Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers? You know, Fred Astaire was a great dancer, but
Yeah.
Ginger Rogers did it backwards and in heels. So I think that kind of says it all, don't you think?
Yeah.
You know, I am having so much fun with you, and I'm almost a little starstruck because, like I said, Pump Boys and Dinettes, I am such a fan of that show, and you're sitting here, and you created it out of nothing with your band of merry
Very
band
idiots.
members, yeah, and you're sitting here at my little kitchen table in my childhood home. I'm going to ask
Did you ever
if,
think of being a dinette?
oh my, I've got Tallulah Bankhead voice. I've
okay.
got that voice.
Okay.
I remember I took theater in college, and the guy said, "Oh, say that again. Say that again. Say, have a cup of coffee." And I can't remember. Jason Robot was married to some woman. I can't think of
that
what
guy.
the name is, a female, but she had such a low voice, and he was enamored with me because my voice. And I never smoked a cigarette in my life.
Yeah.
So I had this voice when I was 6 years old.
Oh, okay.
So I was called Tallulah. So I think Pump Boys and Dinettes do quite a high pitched sound. Now,
Yeah,
if I
they do.
took voice lessons, can people change their range?
Yes.
Oh my God. See, there you go. I have hope. I have hope.
Yeah.
See, I still, at my tender age, women can't give their age like you just did, but not far behind. But I still have hope. I mean, Ron goes to the airport and volunteers and plays piano every day, and he loves it. And I have this podcast that I'm doing. I have so many ideas, so
Yeah,
many
yeah,
things
yeah.
that I want to do. I don't think of age. I just think, but for some reason, time does seem to pass a lot faster when we're older. I don't get that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a theories.
Also, I think there's fewer boundaries. I think
Maybe.
I used to think I could do that, but then if I do that, then that'll mess up that or something. Now, I think because I've got half a brain left, I think I can do anything I want. I
But
can
you know
say
what?
anything I want. I can do anything I want.
I love that because even at the podcast, I have one gal on and she's telling me about hitchhiking, and a guy picks her up and holds her gunpoint because he wants to have sex with her, and she tells him she has VD. That's another podcast. So I mean, these great stories, but
not
she
funny, but-
no, but and she was drunk too at the time.
Oh,
but,
that. Don't leave that out.
Don't leave that out. But the point is, we're at an age where we could tell these stories, and I love older people. I mean, young people like 25. They're a movie star and they're writing their memoirs. What's that all about?
Yeah.
But what I want to say is that we have less fear. But I think that also relates to you being discovered right out of college
Could be.
because you didn't get it then.
Yeah.
People say sometimes they get great success because they didn't have a clue. When you get a clue, and when people start to tell you what's the acceptable thing, that's when you get into trouble.
Let me tell you my epiphany. Maybe we can close.
Okay. Well, I feel, should I bless myself?
I
Your
don't know.
epiphany?
No,
Okay.
Ron, are you Catholic?
Amen.
There you go. So I'm walking. I'm living in New York. I'm walking around New York.
Living the dream.
I think I'm a big cheese, right? And I walk into St. Patrick's,
Beautiful.
and I walk down, and I get in a pew. I don't know. I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden, like when a flash bulb literally pops you in the face.
Well, I always say that bulb goes, oh, literally.
Yeah, literally.
Because I have flash bulbs popping off my head all the time, but that's another story.
I don't know what it was because it was like someone took a camera right in front of me and it blinded me.
Wow, this sounds very
But it
religious.
wasn't a camera. Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't a camera.
No.
Oh, this is, oh, okay.
It was me sitting there, and all of a sudden there was just boom.
Wow.
And I looked around, and the cathedral looked really dark, and then it started to lighten again. And it wasn't anybody that did it. It wasn't any camera kind of thing that did it. And I sat there, and then this fairly soothing voice, everybody thinks I'm crazy when I think of this, said, and it was in colloquial, it wasn't like, John, you're going to die in heaven, and it was a voice that said, relax, you don't have to worry about everything. You seem to worry, and you have so little idea about how great life is. Just roll with it. And it was like a voice, and it's hard to describe. And I just sat there and I thought, man, and I've never, and of course, I tried to go back over the years, nothing doing. It was a one-time shot.
Still the anxiety.
That's right.
But that's amazing because really, we have one life. And sometimes you just have to, like now walking around our hood, our little suburban hood, I just listen to the birds. I walk my dogs. I see people like you. I get that mindfulness and it's just enlightening. And sometimes because when I get back home, I'm thinking, oh, I got to call that person.
Yeah.
We got to pay that bill. We got to do this. We got to do that. And it's just relax. And I have a sign in my bathroom upstairs that says something like, this is the best day in your life today. And we forget that. So that is crazy. But
that's where the voice came. And the voice, and I go back to St. Pat's and stuff, but the voice was, I don't know why, because it spoke in a way that was fairly normal.
It didn't do a musical thing. It didn't sing.
Not yet. But it just said, just take it easy.
Wow.
Just, you worry about stuff, just take it easy. And never saw it again, never heard it again, but it's stuck with me like that. And I always pull it up out of my head when I start thinking, and I just go,
wow.
Don't worry.
John, I just feel like you've just given me something. And when I go by your house, I'm going to go, just take it easy. So let's take it easy. Would you promise to come back?
Yes, I would. It's a long drive, but I'll do it.
But that's
an inside joke.
Inside joke. But it's been so much fun.
It is fun.
And I'm so glad. And my last epiphany is if we were on the phone, we would never, the cell phones you see in New York, everyone's on the phone. Yeah. We had the openness to talk to each other, connect, and now we're good friends. And I've learned an amazing story. So I guess that's a great place to end it. But you're coming back.
I am coming back.
Thank you for shaking the bushes on John Foley.
Thank you so much. Oh, look at that shaky bush over there. Here.
Psst. Hey, thanks for watching the Shaking the Bushes podcast. And if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, and see that little bell there? You could click on that, and that will notify you for the next episode of Shaking the Bushes. Okay, I gotta go. And we never had this conversation.